Honestly, this isn't even about whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. I just do not like bad arguments. And the arguments that are coming from the left right now are absolutely bonkers.
Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea.
Thanks, Whoopi, for proving that even idiots are capable of understanding basic biology.
The queen of woke, Whoopi Goldberg, just made the biggest career mistake. She picked a fight with Candace Owens. And a spoiler alert, it sure didn't end well for her. In just a few minutes, Candace didn't just win the debate, she humiliated Whoopi and her army of minions on live TV. And by the end of it, the woke mob did what it does best, lost its mind. So what exactly did Candace say that had Whoopi stammering, the panel scrambling, and the internet on fire? Okay, now let's break it down because this one was brutal.
Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea.
Whoopi Goldberg, the self-appointed voice of reason on The View, started strong, launching into yet another long-winded, self-righteous rant about race, politics, and women's rights. She spoke with the confidence of someone who expected no pushback, delivering her words with a smug certainty, as if she were handing down wisdom from above. Every sentence dripped with condescension. Every pause was calculated to make it seem like Candace was too ignorant to understand.
I have no problem with that. My problem comes when you tell me what I need to do with my doctor and my family. How dare you? How dare you?
She threw out subtle but pointed jabs, smirking as if she had already won the debate before it even started. And when she tried to paint Candace as out of touch with reality, the audience clapped on cue. The panelists nodded in agreement, and for a moment, Whoopi believed she had the upper hand. But at that moment, she walked straight into a trap. Whoopi thought she was about to school Candace Owens, using the same tired, recycled talking points she's used to silence conservative guests in the past. But she forgot one thing. Candace doesn't play by their rules. She wasn't about to sit there and let Whoopi dictate the conversation. She wasn't about to fumble, backtrack, or let herself be cornered. No, Candace was ready for this. And as she adjusted her mic, sat up a little straighter, and met Whoopi's gaze with a knowing smile, one thing became very clear. This debate was about to take a turn that Whoopi never saw coming. And that's when it happened. Candace Owens turned the entire conversation on its head.
Here we are in the middle of a vicious culture war where a bunch of men playing dress up and trying to convince people that they are women and can give birth and they can chest feed. And here comes along Whoopi Goldberg, and she's so fired up about abortion that she accidentally tells the truth. Only women can give birth. Only women have a womb that is capable of carrying a child. They say, never get in the way of our enemies when they are making a mistake. They also say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I say, thanks, Whoopi, for proving that even idiots are capable of understanding basic biology.
You call yourself a champion of women, yet here you are, tearing down a woman simply because she doesn't follow your woke agenda. Boom. Just like that, the entire conversation shifted. And just like that, you could see the panic set in. Whoopi, who's usually quick with a smug comeback, froze. Her confidence, gone. Her usual sharp tone, now shaky. She fumbled with her notes, stalled for time, desperately trying to regroup. She knew she had nothing, so she did what all cornered leftists do. She tried to change the subject. But before she could, Joy Behar swooped in like a lifeline.
Sex sells everywhere. I mean, you can't see an aspirin commercial without somebody having sex. Mm-hmm. You cannot turn on any program, especially on streaming, where people are having, there's soft porn everywhere now. Right. They encourage all of that. It sells everything. Sex sells. Yeah. And yet when it comes to the reality of pregnancy, this particular group of people on the right in this country and these religious zealots do not understand the reality of what happens when you have sex.
Like clockwork, Whoopi's loyal minions jumped in to cover for her. Joy, visibly nervous, tried to laugh it off, cracking a half-hearted joke to ease the tension. But the damage was already done. Candace exposed their hypocrisy, and they had no comeback. No amount of fake laughter, scripted pivots, or damage control could erase what just happened. Whoopi lost. And she knew it. Then came the moment that sealed it. Whoopi Goldberg, Queen of Woke, the untouchable View panelist, had nothing left to say. For the first time in a long time, Whoopi Goldberg was completely speechless. And that's what absolute defeat looks like. Within hours, the liberal media went into full-on damage control. Articles flooded in, branding Candace Owens as dangerous, radical, and divisive. The same tired, recycled talking points they roll out every single time someone refuses to bow to their woke agenda. News anchors shook their heads in feigned disbelief. Commentators ranted dramatically, and panel discussions were suddenly dedicated to the problem with Candace Owens.
Many of us had feared that this would happen. We feared that and we refer to this as the deep state, because there is a deep state, we're talking about the deep state.
The message was clear. Candace wasn't just wrong, she was a threat. Because in their world, disagreeing with the left isn't just a different opinion, it's a punishable offense. And then, of course, the Twitter mob did what it does best, screamed into the void. Blue-check journalists and left-wing activists rushed to condemn Candace, desperately trying to paint her as an extremist, simply for daring to challenge their narrative. Candace Owens' dangerous rhetoric is a threat to democracy, because that's the game they play. They couldn't debate her points, so they did what they always do. They played the victim. You see, when The View tears apart a conservative woman, that's just debate. But when a conservative woman fires back with facts, suddenly it's hate speech. Make it make sense. But Candace? She didn't just sit back and take it. She fired back harder. She took to social media and made one thing very clear. She doesn't answer Whoopi Goldberg. She doesn't answer to the woke mob. And she sure as hell doesn't answer to the mainstream media. And that's when something interesting happened. Instead of backing down, Candace started gaining more support. Conservative voices, media figures, and even neutral viewers started rallying behind her. Because here's the thing, people are sick of this fake outrage. And as for The View, oh, it was a total disaster. They knew they had lost. And the proof? They barely even addressed it the next day. It was almost comical. Whoopi, normally the loudest voice in the room, looked exhausted, deflated, and completely over it. Joy Behar, usually quick with a sarcastic remark, forced an awkward laugh as if pretending nothing had happened. And the rest of the panel? They sat there like deer in headlights, painfully aware that everyone watching was waiting for them to explain how Candace Owens just obliterated their entire narrative. Whoopi and her crew thought they could pretend this never happened, hoping the internet would move on if they ignored it long enough. But nope, the internet never forgets. And this moment will haunt Whoopi for a long, long time, because no matter how much they try to bury it, spin it, or rewrite history, the truth is out. Candace Owens didn't just win, she left them in ruins. This isn't just about one debate, it's about something much bigger. Candace Owens isn't just a conservative voice, she's a direct threat to their entire narrative. She exposes their double standards, refuses to play their victimhood games, and worst of all, she wins. The left cannot stand when someone like Candace refuses to play by their rules. They rely on conservatives being timid, apologetic, and afraid of being labeled problematic. But Candace, she doesn't beg for their approval. She doesn't soften her stance to fit their narrative. She hits back harder, and that drives them insane. The moment Candace stands her ground and dismantles their talking points with facts, logic, and confidence, they lose their minds. You can see it in their faces, the frustration, the panic, the desperation to regain control. Because deep down, they know they can't control her. And that terrifies them. Let's make one thing crystal clear. Candace Owens didn't just win this debate, she crushed them. She embarrassed them. She exposed them. And she left them scrambling for damage control. In just a few minutes, she tore through their hypocrisy, their double standards, and their tired talking points, leaving them with nothing but awkward silence and forced laughter. And in doing so, she reminded everyone exactly why The View is nothing more than a propaganda machine for the woke elite, designed to silence, shame, and destroy anyone who dares to think for themselves.
You tried to manipulate what I said to fit your narrative, okay? I was not referring to the subject matter that is hilarious. I said it's hilarious.
This is why they fear her. This is why they attack her. Because no matter how hard they try to silence her, no matter how many labels they throw at her or shut her down, Candace never backs down. She doesn't beg for their approval. She doesn't crumble under their pressure. And that alone drives them insane. Because no matter what they do, no matter how hard they come for her, Candace Owens always comes out on top. And this time, She didn't just win, she left them in ruins and speechless. So, there you have it. Candace Owens just wiped the floor with Whoopi Goldberg and her squad of out-of-touch elites. And the best part? Whoopi knows she lost. The real question is, will she ever recover from this humiliation? Or will The View keep pretending like this never happened? Let me know what you think in the comments. Was this Whoopi's biggest defeat yet? Or will she try and spin it like she always does? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more takedowns of the woke media. I'll see you in the next one.